Hi everyone, welcome to the romper course. I'm going to take you through everything you need to know to make a beautiful romper. If you don't know me already, I'm Marina. I live in LA with my husband and my grown-up son. He also lives in LA, but he's over in Burbank, and I run this business and I make patterns and videos and just absolutely love it. And this time with a romper, it was something that I didn't really think was for me, and now I'm absolutely excited, loved it. I've got many more in the pipeline, so let's get started. This lovely romper here has long sleeves and long legs, so it's really super comfy for your baby. We put cuffs on the ends of both of these, and I have got a really nice crossover neckline. So what kind of fabric will you need for this? That's the first question I want to address. And then we are also going to look at the snaps and which ones are suitable as well for making this lovely romper. And then we're also going to talk about what fabric to use for the cuffs and for the neckline. Is it ribbing? Which type of jersey can you use if you're using jersey or interlock? And we're going to now divvy this all apart. First of all, we're starting with the fabric. So when you're buying fabric, there are two main differences in all your jerseys. One is a four-way stretch and the other one is a two-way stretch. And the four-way stretch would stretch this way and also this way. Now you can see that this fabric here is only a two-way stretch. It will only stretch widthways in both directions and not lengthways. The other thing that you need to look out for is the composition of the fibers that are used to make this knit. Now, knit in itself is always lovely, nice and stretchy, but cotton is not a stretchy fiber, which means that when you pull it, even if it's knit, it might not jump back into its original position, which is what we call recovery. I just want to show you an example of the one that I made for the film, which you recognize if you've already watched some of this, then you'll see that. And this is a print which also has got very solid print parts on it here. And if I stretch this, you can see that it literally stays, it doesn't jump back. And this doesn't bode very well. I really like this pattern. I thought it would be beautiful, and that's why I bought it anyway. But I shudder to think what will happen when this is washed. I don't think it'll last very well. If you are getting yourself a bargain from Joann's, this was from Joann's, and it is actually really cheap. You just want to try different things and you don't mind if it doesn't last so long, then yeah, you can go for that. But generally speaking, make sure you've got a stretch fiber in it. And you should go for 3 to 5% of lycra or spandex or elastane. It's all the same thing really. And we are looking for a stretch of 25% for a romper like this. For other items, it might be less or more. Here we go for 25%. That means I should just be able to stretch this 25% more. So, and you can see that this actually does, So if you wanted to get yourself like a marker of 10 centimeters, and then you cut yourself a strip of 10 centimeters and you pull it, and it needs to go to 12.5. It's really quite easy. But if you're in a shop, if you do this and then stretch it a little bit further with your hands, if it does that, then it's absolutely fine. If it stretches like this, then that's more like something that you would use for swimwear or for sportswear, etc. So yeah, so if it stretches a little bit more than it actually is, that's already good for this romper. If you can get your hands on organic bamboo, even better. I mean, that is awesome fabric. What I like about the bamboo fiber is that it lasts so well. So the next thing I want to talk about is the actual fabric knit type that you can get. So I've already mentioned jersey. That is your main sort of knit fabric that you can get, and if you pull it a bit, it might curl up on the sides a bit, and the thicker the fabric is, the easier it will be to work with, obviously. And in the back of the little guide on knit fabric, you get a guide as to the weight of the fabric, so that if you buy something over the internet, you can check what the weight is. And what you want to have is the top edge really of the lightweight into the medium or the medium. You don't want to go very lightweight and you don't want to go heavy for a romper. So lightweight and medium are the two that you want to be looking out for. So that's one thing. Now, the fabric that I particularly really like for rompers is called interlock. Now, what is the difference between jersey and, you know, your basic stuff and your interlock? Interlock is when you literally have two layers of jersey like this, and one of the knitting needles goes back and forth between the two layers. And so you create a fabric that looks almost the same from both sides. You can use both sides. This is particularly cool if you get an interlock which has got like two colors. So it might be grey on the underneath and then a really nice teal or green on the top. So you've got a really lovely contrast there already. That's one thing, but also it's much more stable and it will stretch that 12.5. It's fantastic. If it has lycra in it, even better. So that's what you want to look for. Now for the neckline and for the cuffs here, you can use a variety of fabrics. You can use ribbing. This stretches 50%. So this is a really great fabric. Look at how that jumped back into its position. And because of that, I also used it for the cuffs, right? On the little legs here and also on the top cuffs. And the white stuff you can see here is interlock. It's just some really nice interlock this time. I did make sure it did have some lycra in it. And then you can use that for your ribbing and look at how that goes back, right? That's what we're looking for. If you don't want the really thick ribbing, then get yourself interlock. It's the same from both sides, so it's fantastic. Let's just summarize this together. For the body, you need a two-way stretch. If you can get a four-way stretch, even better. Two-way stretch is fine though. A cotton fabric should have some lycra in it. If you're getting interlock, then not necessarily. Yeah, and for your neckline, you can get interlock or ribbing. What you shouldn't use for it is the same fabric that you've got here unless it recovers really well. This doesn't have a 50% kind of stretch. That's what you're looking for. Look if you can really stretch it and it jumps back. And if it does, cuffs the ears. Right, next topic before we get started on this is your poppers. So I ordered some from Amazon and they were really, really cheap. And when they came with this horrendous, as you can see, blended in tool to put the poppers in, and that didn't work at all. But luckily I had my Dritz tool as well, and when I used that, it worked very well. And in the little section about how to put the poppers on, I will show you a few tricks as to how to use a Dritz tool with your standard poppers that you can get cheaply. Now, I also bought my poppers from Joann's originally, and every packet I think was $6 including tax, and I needed for my romper 3 packets in the end because 2 packets was just not enough. For you, I would say do not buy the Joann's ones. Number one, they didn't last very well, and number two, they're very expensive. So in comparison, these cheap looking bits here that I got straight from Amazon were fantastic. The other option is that you can use cam snaps, and some of you love the cam snaps, and I just want to show you here. This is, I'm working on a summer romper, which is slightly different. And here I've used the cam snaps all the way down the front. But it's up to you. A lot of people, as you can see blended in, have actually used the cam snaps for it, and it was absolutely fine. So now we're going to look at the pattern in a little bit more detail, and I'll see you over there in the next section of this course.